for her late shift, and she had never been so sick of her Muslim heritage as she had since completing the police academy and starting to work for the Odense police. Face after face slid past on the screens as she inputted the new data from the cards on the desk in front of her. They had hundreds of young people with Arab roots in their card catalogs here at Fun and Police, and it pretty much always fell to her to update them and keep track of their interrelationships and where they hung out. It was fine, of course, but over time she had grown sick of being the one saddled with this task. Was it because she was Muslim? Because she was the youngest? Because she wasn't good enough for real detective work? Sometimes the chore even came with sarcastic quips like, "Oh, heard something new about your cousins? Screw them." The sound of laughter disturbed Nasrin, and she quickly glanced up at Dea Torp. Her older coworker tended to raise her volume whenever there were strong men nearby. Pathetic, Nasrin thought in annoyance. About 70 people worked in the reactive criminal investigations department, and she had to end up in the 5-person office with Sergeant Torp as section leader. One of the officers from the canine unit was sitting on the corner of Dea's desk with a cup of coffee. She had let down her shiny, ash-gray hair, so it hung past her shoulders. The canine officer had his vest on but no jacket, so the strap of his shoulder holster was visible. He was broad-chested, and the lingering flirtation between them filled the office. Nasrin looked back at her work in annoyance. Apparently, neither Dea nor the officer had to suffer through their workdays slogging through endless sequences of pictures of ghetto gangsters. Here, Nasrin turned and looked up at Liam Stark. She got along well with the police inspector in reactive and had dreamed of getting to work in violent crimes for a long time. But she didn't understand why he never reprimanded Dea, who had completely taken over their shared office. Some of their older colleagues called him the Scotsman because of his Scottish heritage and fondness for homemade haggis, which stunk up the whole department like dissolved vitamins and sheep fat. "Do you need a cup of tea?" he continued, setting a chipped cup on her desk next to the numerous cards. "Making progress?" She nodded slowly and took the cup. "It's just not why I came to reactive investigations," she said, nodding at her screen. It seemed to take him a minute to understand what she meant, but then he gestured to the cards. "That's the basis of good investigative work. It's one of the most important things we do." She sneaked a peek at him, but he seemed serious. "When we stay on top of where they are and we know what they're up to, then we have just that much more of a leg up, which makes it possible for us to act. So, you're wrong if you think this isn't important." He had said that before, but there were other new hires besides her. "You know they call me the prize perker, right? A sort of Persian-Turk combo slur?" "Who calls you that? Someone here?" "No, not here. In town." She pointed to the screens. "These guys." "Is that a problem for you, when you're out there?" She shook her head and tried to swallow some of the sense of injustice she felt. "No, the problem is more that I'm so rarely out there. I'm not much of a prize anything, sitting around here and staring at a screen day in and day out." She drank her tea slowly, feeling Liam's gaze on her. She burned her tongue, but at least she had managed to say it now. Dea laughed loudly again from her desk, but it didn't seem to bother Liam. Maybe he didn't really notice it, Nasrin thought. Although, of course, he was the one who had brought Dea Torp to Odense, even though it was hard to see why. Nasrin had Googled her, and it was pretty obvious that the section leader had had her heyday on the force and was now on her way